£191,800. That's how much my sister charged on my credit card. If you've ever been used, taken for granted, or betrayed by family, this story is for you. Smash that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for a revenge story that doesn't explode, it simply shuts the door. I was always the responsible one. Since I was a teenager, I paid my own bills, skipped vacations to help my aging parents, and cleaned up every mess my sister, Hazel, left in her wake. I tracked due dates, paid rent, logged every utility, they never had to worry. That's who I was, the fixer, the caretaker, the one who held the family together while everyone else lived their lives. I never begrudged it. It was natural. It was love. But beneath my calm, steady exterior, resentment built like storm clouds. Then came the phone call. My heart dropped when the voice on the other end said, "There's a charge at a Beverly Hills dealership, £191,800. Were you aware?" Confusion set in. I went numb. Heart pounding, I opened my online banking. There it was, the charge. My name. My account. But the listed driver, Hazel. The image, of a brand new white Range Rover, pink leather interior, custom plate, Hazelxo. They hadn't even bothered to hide it. My breath caught, my chest tightened, disbelief washed over me. My calm facade cracked. How could she do this? Using me. Again. I spent that night pacing my apartment, staring at the ceiling, trying to breathe. I felt hollow from weeks of untraceable charges, designer handbags, luxury yacht rentals, holiday weekends in Italy, all popping up in small increments, cleverly disguised. I hadn't noticed. Not until the car. I couldn't stop the shaking in my hands. I felt betrayed, used, and deeply ashamed of how blind I had been. All those years I sacrificed, I thought it meant something, but to her, it was just an ATM. The rage didn't erupt in confrontation. Instead, I acted quietly, methodically. First, I filed a fraud report. Second, I asked the bank to freeze my credit. Third, I cancelled all cards. After that, I waited. I gathered my evidence, an itemized bill totaling 6 figures, registration papers, screenshots of her Instagram posts flaunting the new car, and designer life with captions like, "When family knows what you deserve." It was time for justice, but mine was a calm justice. When she showed up at my apartment door, dripping in designer labels and entitlement, I met her with a stack of printed statements. I watched as recognition flitted across her face. My voice was steady. "Here's what you charged," I said simply. "You have 30 days to repay. After that, this goes to collections." She blinked in shock, anger flickering across her lips. "You wouldn't dare," she spat, voice tight. But I had already dared. Within days, I cut off their rent, suspended joint subscriptions, and moved into a modest studio. I changed my number and locked the door, to freedom, but also to their expectations. My parents reacted as though I'd gone mad. My mother cried, begged me to relent. My father's face turned red with fury. He ranted about family, solidarity, and how I was tearing us apart. But my resolve didn't waver. Hazel's face twisted in disgust at me leaving her stranded with nothing, the repo man towing away her Range Rover on her birthday. My heart clenched, not with guilt, but with righteous vindication. I wrapped a blanket around my shoulders and watched the rain stain the window pane. That day, I sipped tea and let it rain on them. When the call came from my parents, frantic reports of foreclosure notices, bank threats, I let the phone ring. I didn't hate them. I loved them. But love isn't an excuse to be used. Sometimes, I whispered to myself in the dark, revenge is refusing to fix it again. The silence felt heavy, yet liberating. I wasn't the anchor anymore. I was floating free. When I look back now, I see the turning point. It wasn't the charges, or the Range Rover, or even Hazel's shriek. It was the moment I walked away. I didn't yell. I didn't crash through doors. I simply stood up for myself. I reclaimed my peace. That night, for the first time in years, I slept without worry, not about money, not about their needs, not about emotional labor. I slept for me. Living solo hasn't been easy. The studio is modest, the walls thinner, the nights quieter. But these days, every dawn is mine. I walk through my front door and think, this is home. No obligations. No debts. Just me, finally being seen as more than a behind-the-scenes fixer. So yes, revenge for me wasn't about shouting it to the world. It was about walking away, locking the door, and drinking tea while the rain washed away years of neglect and invisibility. If you've ever been the one who picked up everyone else's slack, only to be taken for granted, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, when did you finally shut the door?